Hosted by Mike, the Big Cheese.
All right, welcome back to the Heavy Metal Mayhem Radio Show. It is Sunday, March 15th. I can't wait till I can say it's June 15th or July 15th because I'm getting tired of the cold, the snow, and the rain. We've had a really long and drawn out winter here in New York and the whole, East Coast area. So I'm waiting for the spring to get here. So hopefully it'll be soon. But right there, Overkill with Overkill. Nothing beats the classic Overkill from back in the early days, those first couple of albums when Bobby Gustafson was playing guitar with them. The band is out on the road actually this month and next month. And once again, Dee Dee Verney not taking part of that tour because his shoulder hurts him still. I don't get it. I mean, Bobby Gustafson said that he can't go out on tour because his wife won't let him go out on tour. That was the whole reason why he can't tour anymore with the band on these long tours. And I really have to believe that now because your shoulder hurt you 4 or 5 years ago. You go for physical therapy, you go for surgery, take a couple of months off, and you heal. You get better. You go back out and play with your band. He has not played with the band on tour in years now. But he does do the shows that are close to New Jersey where he could drive home, I guess, the same night. He does play with the Cadillac band when they play in New Jersey. So I'm starting to believe Bobby's onto something over there. I think that's what it is. I think his mommy won't let him go out and play with the boys. So who the hell knows what the story is with that? But we got a great show for everybody tonight. Our guests are Ron Vanacore of Wytche and Mark Pursino of Elecrocutioner. We'll be talking to Mark in the first half and Ron in the second half of the show. So stick around for the whole thing if you can. And we lost another one, Phil Campbell from Motorhead. Oh my God. Phil never got the respect he deserved from being a part of Motorhead. I mean, he was the second longest serving member behind Lemmy. I think it was like 32 years he played in the band. So that's a long time. When you think about it, Filthy played in there for about 9 years in the beginning, and then another five somewhere a couple of years later. And even Fast Eddie Clark was only in the band for about 6 or 7 years. So I understand it's that classic lineup, and that's what people always going to focus on. But people forget he was the original founding member of Persian Risk, another great band out of the new wave of British heavy metal era. So we lost a great one, and so young, at 64 years old. I didn't see this one coming. I had no idea that he was sick or had anything wrong with him. What a shame. We're losing too many great people here. So how about we do a little tribute to him right now? Let's do some Motorhead, then a little Persian Risk, and we'll jump right back into the talk.
If you squeeze my lizard, open the snake at you. I'm a romantic adventure, and you're a reptile too. But it don't make no difference, 'cause I ain't gonna be easy, easy. The only time I'm gonna be easy is when I'm killed again, killed again. Not far away from home where we lost control. With impacts we had to leave on a soul cold. But no one thought of the night, our pleasant flight. We needed help, calling for you. Not far away from home where we lost control. With impacts we had to leave on a soul cold. But no one thought of the night, our pleasant fright. We needed help, calling for you. Oh yeah, alright. Not far away from home where we lost control. With impacts we had to leave on a soul cold. But no one thought of the night, our pleasant fright. We needed help, calling for you. Not far away from home where we lost control. With impacts we had to leave on a soul cold. And no one thought of the night, our pleasant flight. We needed help, calling for you. Not far away from home where we lost control. With impacts we had to leave on a soul cold.
Nowhere to truly see it's dead. Another page in your book's been read. The music in your soul will keep you strong. Oh, the fight tonight 'cause you know it's right. Of the natural you will feel the vice. The time will come, you'll finally see the light. Metal Mountain. Oh, Metal Mountain.
right, I read Tiger with Metal Mountain. Those guys were so good. I really love that record. And before that, we did a little tribute to Phil Campbell from Motorhead from his first band, Persian Risk, with Calling for You, and then Motorhead Killed by Death. Uh, I tell you, when I was a kid, 64 seemed like it was about as old as any human being could be. But now that I'm closing in on 60 myself, it doesn't seem that old. At least I don't feel that old on most days, anyway. All right, let me see here. Christian sent me his request. I'm trying to dig it up right now. Okay, we'll get that on right after this. We'll do that in a minute. Sebastian Bach looks like he's going full force with this Twisted Sister thing. He says it's going to bring fun and energy, but I think it's going to be more like misery and pain. I mean, I'm no fan of Sebastian Bach. If you listen to the show, you know that. But I just don't know why this is even happening or why this is taking place. I know it's becoming a common thing in the metal community, but there was no reason for JJ unless there was some financial obligation that he had to hold up to because he might have lost money that they're going to go out and do these couple of shows with Sebastian on vocals. It should have just died when D left and ended it. It should have died 10 years ago when they retired for the, for the first time and the last time. But this is just the way it goes, I guess. Nothing you could do about it. All right, we got about 10 more minutes before we reach out to Mark and get that interview going. So how about we do one or two more tunes between now and then? Let me get the Christian song off him right now. He wanted to hear Violation. They were a pretty cool band out of New York from back in the day. His Love's to Blame.
I saw you standing there alone. I would have left if I had known. Just wanted you for myself. I didn't care how you felt. I'm just playing a loser's game. Out in the cold, you took my heart away, and you just left me standing alone. Lay with my heart, it's hard for you to know that you're just playing loser's game, and you're just taking me for a fool, just thinking that you're cool. Just leave me be and live my life my own way. 'Cause I'm standing here full of fear, thinking I love to play. Standing here full of fear, thinking I love to play.
All right, that was Electrocution. It was Seven Lamps of Fire. Let's get Mark on the line right now. Electrocution is a great killer band. It's been around for about 5 or 6 years now. Out of Long Island. Let's get Mark on the line here.
Yo,
Mark, this is Mike. You're on the air live. How are you, my friend?
Mike, I'm feeling good, man. Hopefully you are too, bro.
I'm doing great. I got you on here tonight. Life couldn't be any better.
Dude, I mean, it could be a little better, am I right? If we had $1 million.
Yeah, that would help out a little bit, but I don't
That'll
see that
help,
happening
yeah.
anytime soon. Got to keep playing that lotto. That's the only way to do it these days.
Yeah, or rob someone, something like that.
That's even that's even faster and easier. You're right. Well, listen,
Yeah,
Mark,
I
I
know
got to
a few
tell you.
guys. I know a
Uh,
few guys if you want to make a deal.
oh, absolutely. We'll talk after the show about that.
Yeah,
Well, listen,
yeah,
man, I'm a big fan of you guys. I came into you with the last record, not the last record, but the one in 2023, False Idols, and
yeah.
you guys just been blowing me away. But when you think about it, over the last 5 years, you've got a lot of releases out, whether the singles, EPs, or the two full-length records. You guys are busy with the songs.
Yeah, we try to stay productive, Some bands take a lot of time. We believe it. You could die any second, so might as well just put something out.
You're right about that. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of bands that wait 5, 6 years, sometimes even longer than that, to put out an album. If you kind of went back to
Yeah,
the '80s, the whole scene was over if you
yeah,
waited 5 years to put put out another record.
yeah.
So I'm glad. And kids today, they have short attention spans, so you got to keep hitting them with stuff over and over again.
Yeah, I mean that's my dude. All the big four and the Testament, Exodus. It was Megadeth. It was an album every year and a half. 85, 87, 88, or 89. It was write eight. How hard is it to write 8 songs?
If that's your job, it should be easy. I mean, writing music. But as far as writing music goes, is that something that comes natural to you, or something that's relatively easy to do, or do you really have to work hard at it?
No, I believe that if you're if look, if we're if we were Opeth, you probably have to work hard, or like a progressive metal band. But we're trying to make catchy music in and out, Slayer, Show No Mercy type of stuff. So 3 minutes, 4 minute songs, don't overthink it. We try to play meat and potatoes, kind of thrash metal. So to us, it's like, let's get it in, get out.
Is it easier or better with a three-piece band because everybody's got to kind of pull their own weight and make things happen?
It's easy if everyone's, normal and not a drug addict. It's pretty easy.
Okay.
The problem is, like we're when you have we're pretty opinionated, but so it's easy. If we write a song and it sucks, someone just says that sucks, new song, okay, done. But yeah, when you got 5 guys and people are loyal, so when we write, we go, hey, do you like it? It's good, good, done. Simple as that. But yeah, in my opinion, it's all the best bands, not the best, but all the raw and the most powerful bands are 3 pieces. Venom, freaking early Celtic Frost, Whiplash, all those bands are 3 pieces.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said Celtic
Motorhead.
Frost. I'm glad you said Celtic Frost because for the last 45 years I've been saying Celtic Frost, and I know it's Celtic. It's just a force of habit.
Whatever happened to Celtic Frost?
He does Triptychon right now, and that's pretty much his version of Celtic Frost, without it being a version
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, I've seen them do those. Some at MDF, Hell's Heroes. I've seen them do like the tributes. It's cool. I'm not the biggest fan of Celtic Frost, but that first record, Morbid Tales, is freaking amazing in my opinion.
Oh, it was great. They were definitely on to something back then. Even going back to when they were Hellhammer before that, they were doing something completely, I think, different at that point in
Yep.
time. And
Yeah,
so you got to,
totally extreme. Totally extreme.
yep, you got to give it up for that. But Mark, how did this whole thing come together? What is it, about 6 years ago now? Because we're in 2026. I keep forgetting the year, but
Yeah, it was 2020 during the COVID pandemic. I used to be in a hardcore band, like a Nuclear Assault, SOD type, Cro-Mags type hardcore band, and while we were sitting down in lockdown, I was like, let's get the band back together. And then I slowly realized that was impossible. So we just quickly converted, all right, we'll just make an original thrash metal band, and that was it. That was with the old drummer. He quit, and now we have a lot better drummer, so that made it a lot easier to keep the friggin' train moving. I
Sure.
can't curse, right? I want to make sure I don't. I'm
Nah,
trying
you
to
could
censor
curse.
myself here.
Nah, you
Oh,
could
okay,
curse.
cool.
It's
Fucking
yeah.
sounds good.
There you go. You can say anything you want to say here, but not an easy time to start a band during COVID because it was hard to get out there, play live, hard to get people to pay attention to anything at that point in time.
Yeah, everybody was watching, the old TV too much.
Very true. I think I lost you there. You still there, Mark?
Yeah,
Okay,
can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
got
said
you back. Yeah,
everybody during COVID was just watching TV and going to the gym or whatever they were doing. Not me.
yeah, yeah.
We were
That wasn't me
drinking
either.
and yeah, we were drinking and playing metal.
So you got this thing together. COVID is happening, so live shows are right. We don't know when they're going to come back at that point in time. So did you just get down to the songwriting and keep working on that, or trying to put this thing together and make it happen?
Say that again. Sorry about that.
And I was saying during COVID, there was no live shows taking place. Nobody knew when the hell a club was going to open or anything was going to happen. So all you could do was
Yeah.
concentrate on writing music and putting it out there. But how do you promote the band at that point in time? I know we got the internet and stuff like that, but sometimes you really need to get out there and perform live in front of a crowd that never heard of you before and try to win them over.
Yeah, actually, luckily, we started during COVID. We threw a thing, some early demos out there, and to be honest, they weren't the greatest, but it was good to it was kind of trial and error. Like we were kind of still finding our sound and stuff. But once the lockdown lifted or all that stuff, we played some early shows and kind of got luckily in New York, there's really no thrash band, so we were kind of the only thrash band. So there was a little bit of forgiveness in the early rawness, until we got the new drummer and stepped it up a notch. But yeah, once the shows got back together, that was it. Everybody, I went to metal shows during kind of like when COVID got lifted and back down. So I was always going to shows, and I was never scared of that, bullshit.
Oh, I'm the same way. I agree with you. It was just hard for bands at that point in time, especially established bands that kind of count on that playing live to make some money, a little bit of money. It's not much money in it, but some of them actually
Yeah,
rely on it because that's all they do, till today.
yeah, exactly. We go to shows. Hopefully, we get $30, $40. So we didn't. To me, it was all win-win.
Yeah, that's like a gallon of gas today. So it gets a few
Yeah.
bucks.
Well. Oh man, gas just went up, dude. I just filled up my oil tank. It was like $800, dude. Jesus.
It's crazy. It's nuts right now.
Yeah.
It's only going to get worse. So that's batten down the hatches. That's all we can do until it picks up again.
Yeah, I love when the world just gets worse and worse and worse. It's just a great place to live.
Well, it gives you a lot to write about. I mean, it's great songwriting, topics when you think about it.
Yeah, like we're very pro nuclear war. If we could just nuke half the planet, things would be fine.
They're
Like
making a lot.
everybody's about peace. Everybody's about peace and love, but it's like, we nuked Japan twice. They're like living in the future. So like, let's just nuke the whole planet. I think it's like, whatever. It makes people work harder. Things get civilizations back to normal.
Sure, absolutely. It's a great way of looking at it. That's a good way
Yeah,
of looking at it.
yeah, we're very when you think about nuclear war, we're very optimistic.
Yeah, that's a good
Like
thing.
I love watching Mad Max. Like when I watch Mad Max, I go, shit, I want to live there. I want this to happen. I mean,
That's
don't you?
I did at one point in time. Now that I'm getting a lot older, I look at other movies like Cocoon, and I want to be
Yeah,
like
oh
that right
yeah,
now.
yeah. I mean, you gotta have guns. You gotta be strapped. But
Of course, that's the only way to be,
join a
especially
gang.
when you come from New York. You got no choice.
Exactly. I live on the corner of my block, so I'm always scoping out my neighbors to see who's weak. So if like shit goes down, I know which house to invade first and take their supplies and end their lives.
There you go. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's all love though. It's all love.
Of course, of course. Well, Mark, with the band you got together now, I mean, Tyler took over on the drums for you. You got Rich on
Yep.
bass. Do you know when you
Yep.
have the right guys to play with? I mean, at least you
Yeah.
hope you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rich, I've known since middle school. We've been friends forever. We got made fun of by the preppy kids in high school. They actually dissed us in the high school yearbook, me and my bass player Rich, because we had long hair and I think like the superlatives, like most likely to be successful and things like that. Those awards they give out.
Yeah.
Well, they wrote most likely in need of a haircut, and they put us in the yearbook.
God. Oh
And
my
that was
God.
like 2004. Tyler was like 2 years old, but Tyler's very talented. So yeah, once he joined the band, it was like to the moon.
Oh God, I went through the same thing when I was in high school. That was many years ago in the '80s, but I grew up in
Yeah,
Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, which was a Cougine Italian neighborhood. From Saturday Night
nice.
Fever, and I was like the only
With
metalhead
the
amongst them with the
Paisan.
long hair. That's right. So,
Yeah.
I didn't fit in either. But that's part of life. That's what makes you stronger and better.
Well, if anybody's got a problem with us, Electrocutioner is a connected band. We know some people, you know. If anybody
There
got
you,
a,
there you go. It's like when you go on
we
a
make
race like
problems
40 years later.
disappear. We make problems disappear really quick.
That's a great name for a song.
We're connected. That is a good act. Yeah.
No, no, we make
Or
problems
make problems.
disappear.
That's actually that is maybe not. You know, we are working on the new album. Maybe that should be a song. We make them disappear.
I
But
was
then
gonna say,
Metallica had that song "I Disappear." Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. Metallica has "I Disappear." We should make a song called "You Disappear."
yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. Because nobody really listens to Metallica anymore anyway. So I mean, not the old school
Exactly.
people anyway. But
We'll
um,
go to Pelham Bay in the Bronx and make you disappear.
I'm talking about the last record, Harbinger. It came out a little over a year ago, and
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's been a year and a half. When's the new record coming out? And you're working on it now, so I'm guessing this year, maybe next year.
Yeah, it should be. We're aiming for like winter-ish, 2027, like hopefully February. Because the album art's going to be kind of icy and wintry, and that time of year. So we're actually entering the studio. Drums will be done May 30th, and then we'll be spending June do guitars, bass, and then July and August it should hopefully be wrapped up with vocals, and then hopefully we get it to the label and get it out. January, February, March, something like that.
That'd be fantastic. And what's the biggest challenge today with even getting a record out there? I know there's the financials behind it. Nobody's really getting or making any money off of it. But are you responsible
Yeah.
for getting this whole product out to a label for you? Do they give any help at all these days?
Yeah, our label is CDN. They're from Canada. They're the oldest independent metal label in Canada. They're friggin' awesome. They really are great. But the biggest, yeah, money is a big thing. We're not one of these. A lot of these young bands want to do GoFundMe's. They stub their toe and they say, "I need a GoFundMe, please." But we don't do that. So we'd rather die on our hill, and whatever money we have, we put into the recording. And honestly, the biggest obstacle is just getting people to hear it.
True. Well, when Trump takes over Canada and they become the 51st state, I mean, it'll be a lot easier dealing with your label after.
Yeah,
It'll
I
be
mean,
it'll be local.
at this point, like I said before, we are a fan of nuclear war. So if we've got a new Canada and take it over, that just is easier. We don't need a passport to tour anymore, so that's even easier.
Absolutely. Listen, you go into Canada with a water gun and take over the whole country in about 13 minutes.
Yeah, a little rubber band gun, we should be fine, right?
Absolutely, that's the way it goes. But the new record, where we going musically? Is it just continuing where Harbinger left off, or you guys, trying something a little different?
Basically, it's the goal of it is a little less catchy than Harbinger and a little more evil. So a little like think like Show No Mercy to Hell Awaits, like a little more faster, evil, and Taking No Prisoners. We've been listening to a lot more like Morbid Saint and Dark Angels. So it's going to be a little more balls to the wall, no nonsense, take no prisoners. But so if you like Harbinger, you'll like it. It's going to be just the extremity will be up a notch.
You think Harbinger is actually like a melodic record or like a catchy record, like in that sense?
No, it's not melodic in the sense of like Lacuna Coil or some bullshit like that. But it's like certain songs are catchy. Like Heaven's Gate is a Nuclear Assault kind of a catchy song. Frozen Files. We have catchier choruses, but this one we want more like just aggressive and just take no prisoners.
I hear you. Well, when you talk about Slade, the records you named are their best records, and they're all in that kind of vein. The first three albums. After that, the band went on a tangent, and everything went all up and down.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Like Hell Awaits is and Show No Mercy are probably my favorite Slayer records. Obviously, Rain and Blood is great. But yeah, those first three is kind of the blueprint for everything.
But doesn't it seem like that for almost every band that those first three records, if they were a decent band, are the best ones? And I don't know what happened; they go all over the place musically.
100%. I don't. It's funny, man. I think it's because sometimes people shit on bands like a Metallica or Megadeth or Testament because after their third or fourth record they sell out. But you got to remember these guys were like 21, 2018 when they put out that first record. Luckily, we're a little older because we would never do that. But I think maybe when they're younger, they're just doing different things. But, I totally agree. After the third or fourth record, these bands kind of puss out.
They do. You know, when people talk about Metallica, I mean, the thing that kills is always like, oh, you know, they did it without radio airplay. They did it without, you know, putting out videos on MTV. But everything
Yep.
Metallica did was cold and calculated. It was just all behind the scenes with the management company and laws. Nobody saw what they were doing. Nobody knew what they were doing. But it was completely calculated to do what they did. And look where it got them. And I'm glad that, you know, they got to the point that they're at. I'm not a fan no more, but, you know, I'm happy for them where they got to.
Yeah, and I mean, I was talking about that actually with my wife today. Like, if I listen to Metallica, I literally just throw on Kill 'Em All, and I don't even listen to Ride the Lightning. If I listen to Ride the Lightning, I put it on YouTube and I put it on 1.25 speed because it's too slow, man.
That's so true.
Like, I don't even like Master of Puppets. I listen to Master of Puppets, like, what is this dog shit?
I felt the same way when it came out. I mean, there was some good tunes on there,
Yeah,
some good riffs, but yeah, I mean, you could see it was the beginning of the end. I mean, I always wondered if Cliff Burton
hundred
didn't die,
percent.
if the band would have, you know, been the same or gone in a different direction musically if he was still with them.
You know, people say that, but my biggest hot take, I don't get the Cliff Burton worship. You know, like the bass. I don't never. When I listen to the first three records, there's no bass lines from Cliff Burton, and I go, "Oh, this is great." You know, it's just like the first three Megadeth records are far superior in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. I just felt like the band kind of like bowed down to Cliff Burton themselves, like and kind of like went with the way he wanted to go with things. And he did write a lot of the songs and contribute to a lot of them too, which was something that made
Yeah,
the sound of the band. But I just always wondered that myself, you know.
yeah, I know, and like I dig Injustice for All. It's very progressive, but like going back to a band, even like Slayer, it's like it's a totally different planet of Slayer.
Yeah.
Just why would you? I mean, if you're on a desert island, why would you not pick the first three Slayer albums over the first three Metallica albums? You know?
Oh, absolutely. Those are my three favorite out of them. I agree with you on that. But, you know, talking about Electrocutioner, I mean, I know you guys got a busy year coming up. A bunch of live shows. You're playing at the Blades of Steel Festival. I think it's September or August.
Yeah, yeah. September like 15, 16, 17, something like that.
That'll be a great show. I mean, do you try to get onto the festivals and do the festival circuit? Because that's what most bands are trying to do, because they can hit a larger audience at one shot and like kind of win over more fans if they're into it.
Yeah, that's the goal for us, because we're not like a band who could tour too much. You know, Tyler, our drummer, he's in Prong, so he's got his responsibilities there, and we're a blue collar band since we work for a living. You know, we can't just take off a month because we live in mommy and daddy's house. So we kind of do what we can do, and then that is our dream now. Like, hopefully within the next 10 years, we could say like, oh, we played MDF, we played Hell's Heroes. That would be amazing for us. We would love that type of shit.
Yeah. Is it possible that you could get on a tour? I mean, you know, if Tyler isn't doing anything with Prong at the time, you guys were maybe able to take off for a couple of weeks. You know, that's a big tour today if you go out for a couple of weeks. It isn't like the old days where Iron Maiden went on tour for like 19 months, 20 months, 2 years.
Yeah.
Would you be able to do it if the right opportunity came up with the right band? And I know you got to pay on to a lot of these things. It can cost big bucks sometimes, and is it even worth it?
Yeah, well, this summer would be great for us. We're not. I guess we're idiots. We would never pay on for a tour. We're not like that. If people want us, like we have, thrash metal is so niche nowadays. So it's not like we're trying to be on a Lamb of God tour type of thing like that. But yeah, absolutely. If the right tour came up in the summer, we would love to do that. But once again, like you said earlier, everything costs money, bro. Like the gas, the tolls, and playing it. And then all the money you lose just from what you would have worked. So and luckily, honestly, social media is supplementing a lot of that. Like, it's allowed to keep you up on the radar without having to tour nationwide. And like, I look at bands who've toured, and it seems it's amazing for getting that recognition, but not that I treat it as we definitely don't treat the band as a business, but from like a just a data. If you look at the data, it's not like the bands who are touring are you know what I mean? Like the same amount, like how many more people are hearing your music if you're playing thrash, Like if we were on a Cannibal Corpse tour, that'd be different. But with thrash metal, it's so niche that you're probably on something small anyways.
It's not. Listen, I had a band Midnight Healing on the show, another local band from the area.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and they were telling me that they paid on to like two or three Anvil tours, like back to back when they
Yep,
went out touring. And it was like 15 grand to buy into that tour. I'm like, you open up for
yep.
Anvil. Anvil draws maybe 20 people a night at most clubs, and you're paying a lot of money to get maybe 10 people to get there before they go on to see you. I mean, I don't see how it's worth it. I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, actually, it'd be funny. I saw that tour with Anvil, and that was like the best show Anvil ever played. It was amazing. But I totally agree. It's like, like if you're looking at, once again, we don't work as a business, but like if you're looking at money as capital, like if you got, first off, we don't have a pot to piss in, but if I had $10,000, the best, investment for the band would definitely not be putting it to going on tour. It'd probably be recording and buying gear and this and that, because it just goes a longer way.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you on that. When he told me that, my jaw dropped. I was like, God damn, that's a lot of money to spend. You know, you're not recouping it. You know, it's not like, it's going to good promotion where you're going to even like say, well, we got like 2,000 more fans this week or 3,000 next week. It's not going to elevate you to the next level either. So to me, that's a lot of money to spend on a lot of nothing.
Absolutely, and that's why like we're very excited for all the festivals we've been on. Like we got added to, like you said, the Blades of Steel. We're playing with Crimson Glory Sanctuary. We're playing in Brooklyn. So we are metal fans. So like that type of stuff is not lost on us. That it's an honor and a privilege to play with these bands. But like you said, man, like we don't have the money to do this shit. And some of these bands do have the money, but I don't know where it comes from, dude. They must be crypto millionaires.
That's probably what they are. But I forgot you play at the Rage of Armageddon this year too in Brooklyn.
Yep. Rage of Armageddon, dude, is the best. I mean, I know everybody loves Hell's Heroes and MDF, and obviously Blades of Steel is amazing, but um, Ed, our buddy Ed, runs Rage of Armageddon in Brooklyn. It's just some of the best bands you could possibly see, and right in our backyard. And you know, living in New York, dude, hardcore is popular, death metal is popular, but the old school metal really isn't as popular. So to be able to play with these bands is incredible.
Sure. Ed always puts on great shows, whether it's just regular shows or festivals. And, he gives a little bit of something for everybody. You'll have your death metal, your thrash metal, you have your old school 80s metal. He mixes it all up over those couple of days, and there's really something for everybody over there. And if you're not into certain styles or sounds, you want to become fans of some of those bands just by showing up at the club and seeing them.
Yeah, and dude, that's it. Like next week we're playing with excuse me, 2 weeks from now we're playing with Hyrax and Savage Master, and it's like just playing with them is sick. Like that's kind of what we do.
Well, that's in Brooklyn, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
I think that's the only place that has any shows here in New York anymore is Brooklyn. I think that's it. That area of Brooklyn downtown is the only place that even has shows anymore. A club
Yeah,
that put on metal shows. I don't see them in Manhattan no
yeah,
more. Nothing.
yeah. No, Manhattan is dead, man. Like 20 years ago, you go see a metal show. I mean, you could still see some shows in New York City, but it's like big bands, like Halloween or some shit like that. But there's no like dive bar in Manhattan that people play in. And we're mostly based in Long Island and Queens. And like 5 years ago, I used to book shows in Long Island, but it's impossible now. It's all cover bands or hardcore bands, and I'm obviously not insulting those bands. Like hardcore if you're a hardcore fan, Long Island is incredible. But like the original metal scene here it's not that the bands are bad. The bands are so many great bands on Long Island, but there's the venues and the promoters don't want to like back them. They're a lot of the promoters are more comfortable with like, oh, a big metal show comes to town. Let me make some shitty bands pay $600 to sell tickets or get a cover band, to play. Like they don't really care about the long term, of the scene.
I get that. I mean, the only place I remember out there now is the Paramount, and that's for a little bigger, like a little bigger shows, I guess. But I
Yeah,
don't even know
yeah.
what the local scene is. Even Queens, there's not much going on in Queens either these days, as far as I know.
Yeah, Queens. There's a few dive bars we've played, and honestly, every time we play Queens, it's a fucking great turnout. And actually, as much as like we've pretty much been adopted by Queens and Brooklyn, honestly, and the scene in Queens is a little bit different than Brooklyn, and the Brooklyn's crowd is great. The Queens crowd is a little bit crazier though. They're a little more like they get drunk and they fucking go nuts and they jump on stage and knock our shit over. They go nuts.
You would think that New York City is, five boroughs all combined together to be one place that you wouldn't have Queens fans only show up for Queens shows and Brooklyn fans show up for Brooklyn shows, but
Yeah,
nobody wants to deal with the traffic. Like you're coming from Long Island. If you're
yeah,
playing a show in
yeah.
Brooklyn on Friday, you have to probably leave Thursday on the LIE or the BQE to get there.
Dude, we play a show in Brooklyn and on a Friday. It's like we got to take a half day off of work just to fucking make it there. It's insane.
I
These
know.
guys don't know.
So every time I'm like, "Hey, there's a show tonight. I'm gonna go see." Then I walk out to my car. I'm like, I can't sit in that car for 2 hours going to Brooklyn from Staten Island. I can't do it. And I get back in the
Yeah,
house, it kills me. But it's just crazy here.
yeah. Luckily, like me and my wife, we go to shows all the time. But I've slowly gotten used to like, oh, it's only gonna take us an hour and a half. That's great. But like, you forget that's insane.
I know it is a crazy thing. But I'm glad that you're working on new music. I'm glad we're gonna get that record out. What do you think? This year, next year?
It should be early next year. Hopefully, definitely should be finished recording by August, the latest, and mixed and mastered. So hopefully, like I said, the album cover's got snow and ice on it, so we want to get it out in the winter. So hopefully, February, March would be great.
This would have been the winter to put that record out.
Oh my God, the best winter! I loved it, dude. We played with SOD with Billy Milano's SOD during a blizzard. Like the mayor put out a travel ban, and it was like the best show ever. It was fucking. We drove home like through fucking 2 foot of snow. It was amazing.
He's doing the United Forces. He's calling it for the SOD because
Yep,
I guess other guys own
yep.
the name and he can't use it. But Billy's a madman. He's a crazy son of a bitch. That guy.
Oh, he's the best. Dude. We played with. Yeah, actually last year was amazing. We opened up for both SOD and MOD, and uh, Billy and the bass player from MOD dug us a lot because like I said, there's not many proper New York thrash bands, and they really dug what we were doing.
True. I mean, all you gotta do to Billy is just mention Scott Ian, and he'll go off on a tangent for about 4 days.
Yeah, I could send you some videos. How many amazing things he said about Scotty and Charlie Benante on stage. It was amazing. He even made fun of Adam Sandler and the mayor. It was pretty funny.
He's a character. He really is. But he is right about that. Charlie Benante and Scott Ian are two of the biggest dicks out there, as far as I'm concerned.
And yeah, and Billy, New Jersey, New York. It's like if you're from New York and New Jersey, and you don't think Billy Milano represents you, you're out of your mind because his sense of humor is exactly what goes down here.
Yeah, he's pure New York. So when he talks like that, I just laugh and get a kick out of it because I know where he's coming from. Other people get
Absolutely.
like all offended, all worked up over what he said. I'm like, come on, are you kidding me? That's like
Well,
that's
yeah,
like
especially, dude. It was when we opened. It was funny. It was we played with SOD in Brooklyn last month, and like during literally the night of in the morning of the blizzard, and just the banter alone was like it was like a throwback to like 1995, and it just it's amazing.
that's cool stuff. Hey, Mark, I'm gonna cut you loose in about a minute because I want to play some more music from you guys, and I got another guest waiting in the wings to come on after that. But I'm probably gonna see you at the Rage of Armageddon Fest. I think it's Labor Day weekend or the weekend before or after. I got to bring up the date here, but
Yep,
I'm looking forward
yep.
to that. It's gonna be great, and hopefully you guys get. We got some places out here in Staten Island too. I know we're not Long Island, but we got some places out here. So try to get out here.
Yeah, we played Mother Pugs one time, and we're trying to get out there again, but it's tough, man.
I know. I'll talk to Jeff. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, Jeff and Rage, throw us on a bill.
All right, you got it, Mark. Take care, my friend. It's been a pleasure talking with you tonight. We're gonna play some more music by you guys.
Uh, Thank you, bro. God bless.
Take care, my friend. Bye bye. All right, how about we get on Frozen File?
Slowly dancing, captured by either.
All right, we had to get out some SOD over there with Pussy Whip. And before that, Electrocutioner with Frozen Foul. And before the interview with Mark, we did Seven Lamps of Fire. Great band. They got a couple of shows coming up over the next few months. Go and check them out if you can and support. All right, we're going to get to Ron Vanacore from Black Witch in about 10 more minutes. We'll play one or two more songs between now and then. And then we'll see what's going to happen after that, right? But before I forget, next week, Ben Jackson from Crimson Glory is on our show, and Mark Lopes from Let Us Pray. I feel like I should ask Mark some Metal Church questions, but then all the interviews he's been doing, that's the only thing anybody ever talks about. So I think we kind of got all the answers on Metal Church. So maybe we'll just kind of skip that. And for my fellow interviewees out there, whether you do a podcast, a live radio show, a print media show, whatever the hell you do, stop asking every guest about AI. The question has been beaten to death. Just don't do it no more. Okay, there's my PSA. All right, let's get into the music while we can. We're gonna get to the next guest. Like I said, we'll talk to Ron in about 10 minutes about some thrust. All right, Black Witch, Screaming Fright. We went back to the demo for that one. Let's get Ron on the line right now. Let's start this interview. I miss Skype. I really do. Skype was so great for connecting and doing the internet show live with phone calls. The service I use now is spotty at best, but let's get this going here. Here we go.
Hello.
Ron, this is Mike calling for our interview. You're live on air. How are you?
How you doing, Mike? How's it going?
I'm doing great. Hey, listen, 40 years of Black Witch is hard to imagine because I was a tape trader back in the 80s, and I remember getting, the Tempting the Blade demo and becoming a fan and just wanting more and more and more. But 40 years later, you guys are, going to wrap it up finally.
It's been a long journey, but it's been a very exciting thing that we've been putting together.
There's a lot going on. I mean, we'll get to that, as we move along the show. But there's a documentary, the final show this May coming up. It's got a lot of good stuff is happening right now. So let's kind of take it back to the beginning for most people that don't know the band and aren't familiar with the band. You guys got started what around 82, 83, 84 in that area?
It's interesting because online, for some reason, and I think it's Encyclopedia Metallicum, it has us listed as starting in '83, but we didn't actually start them. Black Witch started in July of 1985.
Okay, so about a year before the demos came out.
Yeah, and it was a different lineup. It was also a different, a little bit of a different style. Like we were working our way towards being more of the heavy band that we became.
Yeah, you had a different lineup back then. You had quite a few different guys coming and going through, those early stages of the band. But when it did kind of get together, did form, with Rob and Johnny yourself. I mean, that is the core, and that is who Black Witch really is.
Yeah, it took us. It's interesting. It took us. We formed that band in July, and then there were some lineup changes. By the time we hit December of that year, it had become the three of us.
So a lot went on in the 6 months from then until you guys got together. There was a lot of people coming and going. I mean, was it just hard to find people to play with that kind of had the same vision of where you wanted to go with the band?
No, it's funny. The original drummer quit right after we wrote the song "The Pit of Akron," which was actually our very first thrash song that we ever wrote. And we were so excited about it, like we were blown away by what we did. And then when he quit the band, like probably about a week after we wrote that song, we were kind of surprised because he was the guy that, like I said, he was the original drummer. And it seemed like we were just starting to do something really good, and he all of a sudden kind of just backed out. So we were kind of freaked out by that.
So did you take over the drums at that point in time?
Actually, it's funny. We recruited the drummer that was with Rob and myself right prior to us forming Black Witch. He joined the band for a couple weeks, and then we wrote Satanic Onslaught with him. And we had a different guitar player as well. We had a second guitar player, Scott Golia. He was actually a big part of the thrash element that came out with us. Like we had always been searching for that thrash element in our music, but we, for some reason, were stuck kind of still in that early '80s kind of metal kind of concept, and we couldn't figure out how to make that jump. And he helped us. He helped us to make that jump, which was really cool. So he served a big purpose, and he was in the band for a couple of the early songs, and unfortunately he quit too. So yeah, to make a very long story longer, we went through a lot of guys. We went through a lot of guys between July and say December of 1985. But then once we lost the last drummer, I decided to drum myself out of desperation, and we just made a go. But I had never had really drummed before, but I figured I'd give it a shot.
I was just going to ask you that. Were you like already a drum at that point in time, not a guitar player, or but obviously you just picked it up and started doing it?
Yeah, at that time I was only the singer of the band, and I had only been a singer. I had sat down on guys' kits before and just kind of had fun, but I had never really been a drummer at all. So I was self-taught. So by the time we did the Tempting the Blade demo, I had only been drumming for about 4 weeks.
Wow. And you were singing too. I mean, you put them both together
Yeah.
at the same time. That's not an easy thing to do.
And we recorded those demos live, so that was basically what you hear on those demos. It's what you would hear as if we were playing a gig. Like that, there was no overdubs or anything like that.
Well, there was no money for that stuff back then. You're probably a bunch of
No,
teenagers
you're
at the
right.
time,
That's
also,
right.
I would imagine.
Very
And
expensive.
yeah, you have maybe a 4-track machine if you're lucky, back then, and you try to do it the best you can. But I mean, it still holds up till today. That's the funny thing about that. And all those songs, they hold up till today, and so does the sound.
Dude, it's because I mean, part of it to me is because it came from the heart. You know what I mean? Not to sound corny, but it's like we really we lived that music, man. Like it meant everything to us. Like that's back in the day. I'm sure that's back in the day when music was music and metal was metal, and like it was like a religion. And that was for us to be able to participate in that and create our own music that like some people caught on to when we're like, damn, like we really like these guys. Like we were just so blown away, dude. I mean, it was like unbelievable that we were even at a point where people were so into it.
Everybody wanted to be in a band when they were a kid, especially like I said, we came through the same generation. We started out probably in the '70s with Kiss and other bands like that, and worked our way up the ladder to different, harder and
Absolutely.
heavier things. We all wanted to be in a band. So, I mean, when you put this together, do you say to yourself, "I don't really play drums. I can sing, but I'm going to start a band"?
Well, what it was after we lost the second drummer there, like we had already written those two really good songs, which were on the first demo, and we were like, damn, like we're onto something really good here. And we tried out some drummers from the area, because back then, I mean, there's no Facebook, there's no phones, there's nothing. So it's like if you can't find somebody in your immediate area, like you're in trouble. And so we tried out a couple different guys, and they just couldn't really do the double bass thing, which was obviously going to be a big part of it. And luckily, that was one of the things I was able to do kind of naturally. And so I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And I literally my drum stool for the first 4 months was 2 milk crates, and I was using chair legs and pieces of wood for drumsticks. Like it was like bare bones, like. But we're gonna make it. Like we knew that like we had something magical, and we were gonna make it.
Absolutely. And the band was a thrash band. There was a lot of speed elements in the sound of the music back then, but yet the songs were memorable. They were catchy, where a lot of other bands from that era didn't really bother with that. They just blasted something out and left it. But, your songs had something to them. That's what I always appreciated about the music, is that I could actually remember the lyrics and remember the riffs.
I appreciate you saying that, man, because like I think that that's kind of what I said before, kind of like how early on in the Black Witch era, like we were a little bit stuck in like the old school metal version. Like I think we brought a lot of that with us. We were very inspired by Priest. We were very inspired by Ozzy and Sabbath and like the really solid metal bands of the day. And like they always constructed a good song. So I felt like once we really like delved into more getting into like your Slayers and your Metallicas, like we just brought a little element of that with us, I think, and kind of combined the speed with the catchiness of maybe like having hooks. Because I agree with you, we were very chorus oriented, and it wasn't just about gang vocals.
For some reason, people think that when you say that about a thrash metal band or a speed metal band, or even an extreme metal band, that it's like a sign of weakness to have a song that's memorable. But if you're writing songs that nobody can remember, who's going to remember the song of the band?
That's exactly right, because they start to sound the same, right? There's no difference from song to song.
Absolutely. So you guys go into the studio, you record Tempting the Blade. Like I said, it's pretty much done live because that's all most of us could afford back in the day to go into a studio. The studios, people don't realize it. They were expensive back then. And when you're a teenager and you don't have a lot of money, you do the best you can. I think the demo came out pretty good, but the next one comes out, I think it was around the same year, about a year or so later, or even maybe much later. Were they all recorded at the same time?
No, the second demo, Last Rites, was recorded on August 11th, 1986, which happened to be my birthday, my 17th birthday. And like I decided that on purpose. That was like my gift to myself, like to be able to get into the studio and record these great new songs that we had just done. Back then, like multi-track was probably $75 to $100 an hour, and what we were doing with two-track live was probably closer to like 40, 45. So that's really the only way we could really approach it. So we just had to practice our ass. I'm sorry, we had to practice our butts off and just kind of, be super tight so that when you get in there and mic it up, like you're able to actually perform because you don't have a second chance to clean it up.
That's very true. And with the two demos being not too far apart when you think about it, but yet there's a drastic change in the sound and the style of the band also. I mean, you can see like the big improvement. All these things are taking place literally months apart from each other. So there's a lot of growth in a very short amount of time.
And that's and I attribute a lot of that, man, to the fact that I know a lot of bands will say, oh, we're buddies and bros, but the three of us, and because it was only three people, the three of us were so tight with each other. Like we were all best of friends outside of the band. Like we hung out with each other individually with each other or in a group with each other. Like we really enjoyed each other's company all the time. We were the best of friends. I met them both like when I was in like high school and junior high school. You know, and I really believe that was a huge part of why there was a magic there and there was an element there.
You were saying like, you had to be around 15, maybe 16 years old when this all got started. So, I mean, what was the goal at that age? And because, most 15-year-olds just say, I'm in a band, I want to get a record out, maybe I want to play live, get drunk, hang out, meet girls, get high, whatever you want to do. I mean, musically, I mean, I can see what you're doing, but on the business end of it, were you looking to take this to a different level, or was that just beyond what you could do at that age?
I wanted to be huge, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
ever since I was 12 years old, saw Ozzy in the Circus magazine, and with the eye makeup on and the long hair and the tattoos. Like I knew from that moment that that's what I wanted to be. That's what I wanted to do.
So how do you go about that in the 80s? Because like you were saying before, there was no internet, there was no social media. But sometimes I think it was actually easy back then because, we had our groups and our cliques, that were metalheads and certain clubs that we went to that we hung out with other people like us and that were into the same stuff as we are. How did you do it back then? How did you try to, like just like move the band forward?
Well, we were fortunate enough, dude. You remember Mike Z, right? You remember Mike Z from NHU?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were fortunate enough that he had the show back in the day, and John, Rob, and I, we were all disciples of NHU from the Pete Sotir days way back, and Mike ended up becoming a DJ there, and one night I just called him offhand to announce that we were going to be going into the studio, even though barely anybody knew who we were. I was trying to make it sound like we were somebody. And then off the air, he asked me. He said, have you thought about having a producer come into the studio with you? And I said no. And so we agreed to let him do that. And then from that point on, he was our manager. And between the airplay that we had and the great shows that he was able to get us with Celtic Frost and Voivod, Creator, Nuclear Assault, I mean, we ended up with a lot of exposure. So it was really a perfect storm of like a really good band, but also like with the promotional machine behind you that you need.
You do need that. I mean, it's hard to do everything on your own, especially when you're young, because you just don't know the ropes yet or the business.
Exactly.
And I'm glad that you said Celtic Frost, because I've always said Celtic Frost. Our guest that came on before you said Celtic Frost. That technically is the real name of the band. I've been saying it
It
wrong for
is.
the last 40 years, and I still say
Yeah.
it wrong. But that's the way we say it here in the U.S. In our country.
It's even though I know that it's like I've been informed as well, right? Over the years, you've been informed it's like it's Celtic Frost, right? And I'm kind of like, when I'm talking, it just kind of comes out. It always comes out like that.
I know. I say the same thing every time I play them on the show. I still say the same. I'm not going to change it now. It's worked for the last 40 years. Nobody's complained
Yeah,
about
you
it.
can't help, but you can't help it, right? It's just part of the jargon.
Absolutely. Nobody played them on the radio that you're going to hear back in the day. And when you read a magazine didn't pronunciate it for you. You just Celtic Frost. That's the way it went.
That's it. That's it. But yeah, but playing
Unbelievable.
with them back then, dude. Just to kind of jump for a sec. When we played with them, that was the first like band that we kind of like looked up to as like heroes, like, and we got to like meet them and like not really hang out with them, but we met them and kind of talked with them. They signed autographs for us and talked with us, dude. It was mind blowing. I was 16 years old and I'm sitting there with Tom G. Warrior, and I'm looking at him and like on the back of the album, he looks like he's like fucking. I'm sorry. He's like 7 feet tall, and when I meet him, he's like maybe my height. You know what I mean? He's probably about as skinny as I am, and it just like it freaked me out. But he was the coolest guy in the whole world.
Yeah, they say he's a good guy and everything. You can curse on the show. It's okay. It's on the internet, so you can curse. It's not a big
Okay,
deal.
okay.
Don't worry about it. But I remember going to Connecticut over and over again as a kid. I played in a hardcore band, so we played at the Brickenwood a lot, and we were
Yep.
always out in Connecticut doing shows or playing. And I used to love it out there. There's such a great scene. I mean, how was it for you guys getting on shows back then? Was it pretty good?
Oh my God. I mean, I look back on it now, and it's like it was so. There was a dry spell. There was a dry spell from like I want to say about mid '86 to about mid '87, almost '88. Like where there was nothing for a while, and then when the Brickenwood came up, that opened everything up again because Sneakers had been the place in Brantford that we kind of got our foundation going. We played there 5 times in 2.5 months, and then they closed down.
Wow.
And then we did hall shows and things like that, DIY kind of stuff, the old school. But then it was about we did a hall show in August of '86, right after we did the second demo, and it was almost 7 months or so before we did another gig, which was in May at the Agora with Creator and Voivod. So there wasn't a lot of places to play. So all we did was we got together twice a week and practiced and wrote songs and just kept writing songs and perfecting like what we were doing. By the time we played with Creator, we wanted to be faster than them because we loved Pleasure to Kill so much.
Yeah, great record. And that is most of the band's inspirations. Like you see somebody else doing something, you're like, you know what, I want to do what they're doing, but more original and but more better than they are. And I know more better than they are is a proper word, but you just want to do what they're doing a lot better than they're doing it. So, I get
Yeah.
that. I mean, so you got the 2 demo tapes. They're out now, they're circulating around. And like I said earlier, there was no social media back then. And you're gonna hope that you catch something about a band in a fanzine or something going on. I don't remember hearing much of anything about Black Witch after that.
Now, what year are we talking? Right after the demo, the second demo?
It had to be around '87 was the last time I remember hearing anything about you guys.
Well, there's an interesting aftertale which is like its own like book in the chapters of the anthology of Black Witch. But what happened was there happened to be a split in the band, and Mike at that point had joined the band, and we played together for maybe 4 months or so, and the popularity of the band was growing immensely. And we were actually going into the city at that time, and we got interviewed by Mechanic Records, which was a subsidiary of MCA. They had just signed Violence, and we were going to be their next signing. And then stuff happened between us. You know, some personal stuff happened inside of the band, and then there was the schism. And then Mike and Rob both left. And then once that happened, John and I kept the band going. But as fun as it was, and as cool as it was to play with the guys that we play with, it was never the same as the trio.
Yeah. That happens when you're so used to playing with someone else and creating with them, and then whatever happened. It's old news now. It doesn't matter. It's not even relevant these days. But it does kind of throw you off your game. And did you just end it after that? Then when you felt it wasn't working with the new guys?
We kept Black Witch alive until I would say it was like fall of 1989. So we probably kept the band going, I would say, about a year and a half after Rob left.
Was there any new music or recordings that were made that just didn't get released at that point in time?
Actually, we did release a demo. It was called Shadows of Dementia. We released it in 1989. The band was on a bit of a different course by that point. I mean, we were still doing thrash elements, but at that time, I felt like the writing was on the wall for thrash, and I felt like it was starting to eat itself a little bit. And I was getting more into Sabbath. I was getting more into Zeppelin. So things were changing, influences were changing, you know, and everything kind of morphed into a different kind of style a little bit.
Yeah, I get that. But did you think about changing the band's sound, style of music, or you just figured Black Witch was known for this? We weren't going to try to mess around and put some Black Sabbath into that now.
That's kind of, I mean, it wasn't like we were purposely like trying to kind of change and be like, all right, we're going to do this to screw with people. It was more like we're maturing as musicians and as people, and our ears are expanding, and we hoped that people would join us for the ride. And honestly, to be honest with you, like we're very popular. We played the Brick and Wood, just sell out shows almost every time. It just, after a while, to be honest with you, man, by 89, like I was kind of like getting kind of like really out of the whole thrash concept. You know what I mean? Like I had been in it for 5 or 6 years, and I just was kind of done with it.
I can understand that completely. That's what happens. But, when the band did get going, and like I said, thrash was humongous, like around 85, 86, 87. Then the hair
Yes.
metal started to creep in, and that became the next
Yep.
thing. And then before you know it, the Black Album came out from Metallica. Next thing you know, grunge took over, and that was the next big thing. And everybody else
Yep.
before that got kind of forgotten about it. It was a shame, but that's just, the life cycle of music. I mean, everything had its place in time.
And that's part of it, right? You have to kind of accept that.
True.
So there is.
I mean, did you give up music completely?
No, absolutely not, man. I am actually still playing in a band right now called Curse the Sun. It's more of a stoner doom metal band. It's been together since 2008. We are actually going into the studio next month to record our sixth album. I'm sorry. We're on Ripple Music out of California. So no, I have never stopped. I've never stopped. John played with me for a few years after Black Witch broke up in a band called The Gathering. And then Rob went on to play in bands. I believe the name of the band was Silent Shadows, something like that. And they did some pretty cool stuff. They had some stuff on Paris Records and things like that. But Rob and John kind of put music down for the most part. So for them to kind of get back on it has been really magical, because it's not only has it been a recharge for all of us to get together, but they, are also picking up their instruments again and kind of feeling that vibe of like, oh yeah, I remember what this is like. And like, it's fun to be together again.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. And when you talk about Curse the Sun, it's SON like in Father's Son, not sun up in the sky. And I got the Delirium
Absolutely.
record from about 2 or 3 years ago, and your son plays you in that band, doesn't he?
My son is the drummer in that band. He's not on that record, but unfortunately, the drummer who was on that record quit like before the record even came out. So by the time the record came out, my son was the drummer. But the good news is that, like I said, we're going in next month, and we're going to do a record with my son as the drummer. It's going to be an awesome thing for me and for him as like a legacy thing, because he's phenomenal, and I know everybody would say that about their kids, but he's phenomenal, and like I can't wait for the world to hear what he can do.
I'm sure it's going to be great. And man, when you think about how it comes full circle, you know what I'm saying? Your kid is old enough to be in a band and get to play with you on top of that. That's just magical, in my opinion, man. That's just fantastic.
I mean, just to let you in on like an inside thing here. Like I'm sitting home right now, and like downstairs in my band room, he's got three dudes over, and they've been kind of doing like a retro thrash kind of thing. Like he's putting a band together right now, doing almost similar type of stuff to what I was doing 40 years ago. So that's even more full circle.
You're not kidding. Yeah, I say it all the time that these young kids today, they really get into the music that we were into back in the '70s and '80s. They really appreciate it. I guess they feel like there's nothing out there like that right now, and they realize just how good it really was back then. And they're so into like the '80s metal, which is just amazing.
It's it was the best time, dude. Like, I mean, of course, I wish that I was born maybe a couple of years earlier, so I could have seen Sabbath in their prime, and I could have seen Zeppelin in their prime. But for the most part, to be able to see those early '80s shows, man, to see Judas Priest in their prime, Iron Maiden like in their prime, and like all those thrash bands come up when they were underground. Like, I mean, that was just it was a magical period, and I think we all thought it was going to last forever. And unfortunately, time has proved that it did not.
No, like I said earlier, everything has a cycle. My father was in a doo-wop band back in the '50s and '60s. You know what I mean?
So
And
was
then
mine.
it
So was
died out and
mine.
came. Yeah, and it died out. Then when that happened 25 years later, it came back, and it still lives on in one form or another. It's just like our music came back 20 something years later, and it'll live on in this form for forever. So it's a good thing. But over the years, like after the band broke up, and I know you've been into it, different bands since that time. Was there ever any talk of maybe trying to do Black Witch again over the last 20 years when the underground metal scene started making a comeback in the 2000s?
In 2006, our good friend, and he was once also in the band. His name is Rich Regan. Our good friend, he contacted me in 2006. He's like, so what are you thinking? And I hadn't even thought about it, and I was like, wow, it's like 20 years, and I was kind of like, well, this is interesting. And so, I don't really think at that time we talked about it. Um, but there was rumblings, and I was kind of starting to feel like the pangs of it. And then I would say about 10 years ago, do you remember the band Sonic Plague?
Yeah.
So they had reunited. It was about 10 years ago. And we had an offer to play a show in Connecticut with them and somebody else. I can't remember who it was. And, obviously people wanted us to reunite. But at that time, one of the members wasn't really comfortable with kind of doing it. And so I, in my heart, like I know again from what I've told you, in this interview, like the magic was in the trio, and I said no, if we're gonna do it, it's gonna be the three of us, or it's not gonna happen. So I've stuck by that until just recently, and then when they contacted me, when Stormspell Records contacted me out of nowhere last year about putting out remastering the demos, it kind of lit a fire under the whole band, and all of a sudden everybody was like, wow, people do care, and everybody got inspired to kind of get together and start playing again.
You've been doing it all these years, so I mean, it's natural to you to play your instrument and do what you do. But the other guys, I mean, were they out of it where they couldn't even remember how to play the songs when you first got back together to do some practice?
Yeah, it took a while to shake the rust off for all of us. I mean, I had the fortune of kind of still being functioning, and for some reason, like I have a very good distant memory. Like if you asked me what I ate last night, I couldn't tell you, but like I have a very good like long term memory, and I can remember lyrics from back then, dude. Like the riffs, like I was just obsessed with that. I was the band historian. You know what I mean? I kept all the pictures, I kept all the records. I have like all like the lyrics and like all the original stuff. Like that's me. Like I'm like the Lars Ulrich of the band. Where it's like I worshipped everything that we did, and I thought that we were like I really did think we were destined to make something of ourselves. I thought we were going to be big.
So when the Star Spell record comes out last year, now everybody's kind of like on the same page and they want to do it again. Was it meant to be a long term thing again, or something you could do on and off throughout the years, or did you just say we're going to get back together, do one final show, and kind of end it after that?
It's been set up as closure, if nothing else, man. Kind of going back to what I said before, the way things happened, like when things fell apart, it was very unceremonious. It was unexpected, and the three of us never had a chance to put a proper bow on the great things that we had accomplished together. And this was something that it was almost like, to me, it was like a little bit of a sign when this guy contacted me out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, this would be cool, and then like to be able to have the chance to do it was kind of a nice way to say, okay, let's see what we can do. This as of the moment, this is a one-off shot. We're not planning on doing anything else. Like we've had offers already to tour Europe and do different things, but at the moment we are just doing this as a one-off because we want to have proper closure and have fun with our friends and our families. And if something happens from there, if we record a couple songs or something like that, who knows, but we're, that's open, but I don't expect anything more than just playing this gig.
I get it. Was there anything left over from back in the day that you always felt you wanted to get back to and maybe redo it with the band? A song that you guys were
Oh,
working on that never got completed because of the breakup? Uh,
absolutely. Dude, absolutely. There's about 7 songs that we wrote in between the second demo and the time the band broke up, at least. And we had been talking about trying to get into the studio to record a couple of those prior to the gig, but it just wasn't really working out timing wise. But maybe that's something that we do down the road. I definitely don't think that we would be in a position where we could write stuff from scratch anymore because we're not in that mindset. But there were a lot of good songs that we never had a chance to really record properly. Absolutely.
Boy, if you get back to those ones, like, so you never know what's going to happen. Tomorrow things could change. Next month things could change. I hope you can get back to them with these three guys, the three of you guys, and go in there and put this music out because that would be phenomenal. And you're right. I don't think if you tried to write songs today, you could recapture that magic from 40 years ago. Sometimes it's just impossible.
Yeah, obviously, you're 16, you're 17, 18 years old. You're angry, you're frustrated. It's a different point in your life. Like that music came from inside of us. We're obviously as adults, we're different people now.
True. We know with the anthology record that came out through Stormspell last year. How did you feel they did with it? Did they get the songs to the point that you would have wanted them to be back then?
I was When I heard the remastered version of what the guy did, I was absolutely flabbergasted. I was amazed. Um, I'm sorry, but I don't remember his name. It's some engineer in Australia, and the guy just sent him the music. And I'll tell you, man, what he did with especially the last rites, because to me, even though Tempting the Blade is the original, it's the first one and all that. Last rites is when we really started to find ourselves and like really became what we were going to be. And I always felt that sound wise it was inferior because it was just too much reverb and like just a lot of noise. And the guy was able to clean that all up. He was able, for some reason, he was able to pull apart the stems and like clean them up and like make things happen. And I was just blown away. Put some bottom end on the kick drums that was never there before. Like, of course, it's this is how it sounded back then in the studio. And like to finally hear it be super super heavy and have the guitars like right in your face like it was supposed to be is just killer.
The technology that they have today is just unbelievable.
It
Were
is.
these songs remastered off the old reel-to-reel tapes, or were they just done off of like some MP3 or cassette?
No, man. I have all sorts of cassettes upstairs. Like I told you, I'm the historian, but they were all in bad shape and dropouts and everything else. So I still had the masters, and I sent them off to a company that you have to have them baked. They have to be like cooked in an
Yeah.
oven so that the adhesive sticks. So they restored them, and then they transferred them to digital for me. So those are directly off of the quarter-inch reels that the masters run.
Wow, they did do a great job on it. If anybody hasn't bought this yet, you have to pick it up. It's just a phenomenal. To have all this music on one CD or one album, it's just a bonus. Everybody should grab this right now while they can.
And the couple songs on there, like there's those practice songs on there. I put those on there because like that was a special time for us. Like I said to you earlier in the interview, like that was when we made our transformation from kind of like treading water and trying to figure out how to get there to finally getting there. And like those were the two recordings of when we finally laid those songs down. So even though they don't sound that great, like there's a lot of magic on there, and like those songs have a lot of meaning in that form as well.
Oh, they absolutely do. Well, Ron, I know the final show is going to be on May 8th. I'm hoping it's not the final show, but it's a closure show in a way. That's going to take place at the Cellar May 8th. But more importantly, there's a
Yes.
documentary being worked on the band. I mean, how did the documentary come about? Because that's going to be phenomenal, especially if there's any video footage.
There's gonna be video footage. The documentary thing is gonna be awesome. It's a friend of mine from actually back in the old scene. He was in his own band called Born Dead from West Haven, and his name is Fred Carroll, and he's a filmmaker, and he approached me with this idea, and I thought it'd be fun. I thought it would be great. So yeah, we're going full steam ahead with it, and we're going to see what happens. But a documentary about Black, which is something that I had dreamed of back in the day. It's just things happen a little bit different than you expect them, maybe.
That's the God's honest truth. Is this something that's going to be ready for the show, or is this something that's going to come later on?
This is something that'll probably be out late summer, something like that, because it's going to have a lot of footage of the show, talking to people, interviews with a lot of people on the inside. There's a lot of stuff that's going into this, and he's really taking his time. He's really going to try to make this professional, like top shelf professional.
Oh man, I can't wait for that. It's so great we get to see these documentaries on bands and the band members talk about, their stories and what happened, what took place, and especially when you can get like some old video footage from back in the day. Because, we didn't really
Absolutely.
videotape things back then. We didn't have cell phones. You'd have to have a camera that was the size of a small car and carry it around on your back.
It's funny because of the trio, there's only three videos in existence of the trio, because of that reason, because nobody really had a camera, so it's like,
Yeah.
I did put up one on YouTube relatively recently. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's pretty cool to see, like, just the old school vibe. It's up on YouTube now.
I rarely go to YouTube, but I am going to go after the show and check it out. That's going to be phenomenal. But Ron, we only got
Yeah,
about 5 minutes
it's
left in the
it's
show. Uh,
yeah.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's Thrash Bash. It's a West Haven Thrash Bash from August of 1986. If you're looking it up.
Well, I'm definitely going to go check it out, but I'm going to let you go, Ron. I'm going to play another song. I'm going to wrap up tonight's show. I'm hoping I can get out. We go to Connecticut, my wife and I, every summer, so I'm going to try to make our trip in May if I can to get out there and see the show.
Dude, that would be awesome if you could come, and please, if you do, come up and say hello, okay?
I absolutely will. So, Ron, thank you for everything, man. Big fan for 40 years now. I mean, thanks for all the great music.
Thank you, brother, and I appreciate this experience, and it's very good to talk to you.
You too. Take care, my friend. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, let's get on Oblivion, and then we're going to wrap up tonight's show. We got one more tune to do after that.
Walls pretty play. You live in time and space. Waiting for the time you need to escape. Land is the light, not just you ready. Think some people living in a daze, calling it days. Ready to die.
right. I want to thank Ron and Mark for being on tonight's show. Don't forget to tune in next week with Ben Jackson from Crimson Glory and Mark Lopes from Let Us Pray. We're going to close out here tonight with one final song. My dear friend Jeff Rowland from Sacrilege. And by the way, Sacrilege have their final show ever coming up real soon. It's getting closer and closer. So if you're in that area in the United Kingdom, go and see them live. It might be the last time. It probably will be the last time you ever see them. But my friend Jeff wrote a song for Andover Rocks. This year it's coming up the weekend of March 27th, 8th, and 29th. If you know, it's an event that, for all the people that live in the Andover area, and they raise money, for people that have problems and need mental health interventions and other stuff like that. And Jeff is always involved in a lot of great causes. So support him and support this event. And let's do the song that he wrote for it. This is called Rock With Us. I want to thank everybody for listening tonight. Take care and head over to Andover Rocks online and donate some money. It all goes to a good cause. Take care, everybody. Have a good night, and I'll see you next Sunday.
Days getting longer, spring is in the air, and there's a buzz going round the town. Ooh, you can't ignore it, music